Hello, today we will discuss how to change the punch and die configuration in your Model 3T unit. Because the Pack-a-Punch is a modular unit, many different combinations of punches and dies are going to be required, whether it be a Schlage machine, a quick-set machine, an I-core machine, or an automotive machine for domestic and foreign applications. It will be necessary at one point to change the punch and die. It's a very simple process, and I will make it as easy for you as possible. But first, let us discuss briefly the different punch and die combinations that are available and required for the Pack-a-Punch. Every Pack 3T unit that is sold goes out with a standard punch and die. The standard punch and die is a 90T. A 90T is easily identified. The die itself will have one black dot on the side of the die. On the rear of the punch, near the upper surface, it will have two black dots. All punches and dies are color coordinated, but the 90T, the standard punch, will have two black dots at the rear of the punch. So every 3T unit sold goes out with a 90T punch. The different punches you may see is a 90 punch. A 90 punch has the same 90 degree of angle. It's used with the standard die, but it will have one black dot at the rear on the upper surface of the punch, identifying it as a 90 degree punch. The 90 degree punch is used only with interchangeable core applications, systems 1, 2, 3, and 4, only with I-core applications. Another 90 degree punch is our 90V for Volkswagen. This punch is used for only Volkswagen applications. Easily identified, three black dots at the rear of the punch on the upper radius of the punch. 90V. Our newest 90 degree punch is quite different. It has 90 degree of angle, uses our standard 90 degree die, but this is a 90TR. It's a reverse truncated punch. This reverse truncated punch is used only with our Pack G15 quick change kit. The G15 is for the GMZ Keyway 93 groove. This punch should only and never be used for any other application other than the G15 Z Keyway 93 groove. It's easily identified. There is a flat ground on the upper radius of the punch, quite different than the other applications where we have dots or dimples. This is a flat ground, and this punch is only used with the G15. Three other applications, variations you will find. Most of your foreign applications of automobiles will require a 88 degree of cut, whereas all these are 90 degree. The 88 is required for most foreign. There's a couple of exceptions, but as a general rule, the 88 is required. The 88 is easily identified. The die will have one white dot. The rear of the punch, the upper radius, one white dot. The 88 for foreign applications. The other application is a 90S, the S being for Schlage. It's easily identified. One orange dot on the side of the die. One orange dot, the upper radius of the punch. And this is the 90S for Schlage. These are all mated parts. The other application we have is for quickset. One red dot on the side of the die for quickset. One red dot on the upper radius of the punch, quickset. So we have dedicated punches and dies for Schlage, quickset, and 88-degree foreign applications. All these are 90-degree dies, and they all use the standard 90-degree die. So now, the easiest way to change a punch and a die, it's quite simple. I'm going to put some leverage on my pivot handle, removing the change screw. Pivot handle screw. Set this aside. The punch, because this is modular, will slide out of the housing. Very simple. Set your punch aside. On the face of the unit, we need to replace our die. The die is held in place with two 440 cap screws with 2 washers per. It's important you always use 2 washers per. Otherwise the screw could come through the face of the die and you may get some interference with a key blade. Remove the 440 screws. In most cases, the screws will stay in the unit because of the shield. Let's set this 90T punch and die to the side. Let's install the 88 punch and die. Quite simple. It's important that the flat surface of the die, you have some ground angles. All the angles will fit towards the face of the unit. Drop your die into place. Push it up to what I call the die shoe. Reach around and hold it with your thumb and your forefinger. Slowly engage the screws into the die, leaving them loose. The die needs to be able to move. This is very important. Take your punch. It should slide directly into the housing. Reinstall your pivot handle through the underside of the body, pulling forward slightly with your finger just to relieve some pressure. Tighten the screw. Now, for the very important part, the die is now loose. We need to absolutely make sure that the punch and the die are properly aligned. Any misalignment will damage both the punch and the die and severely limit its abilities and its wear. I'm going to slowly, with my fingers on either side of the die, I'm going to slowly engage the punch into the die, holding it firmly, making sure that everything is properly aligned. Now, with this punch still fully engaged into the die, I will hold it there. Now I will tighten down the die screws. Now the punch and die are properly aligned with one another, and that's all that it takes to convert a punch and die in your pack-a-punch.